Hi everyone, my name is Tony Xavier, Chief Learning Officer of IMS and the author of the book Bell the Cat, Your Friend, Philosopher and Guide for Cat Prep. These are a series of videos I'm doing as a companion to the book for things that obviously cannot be solved on a book and are much better on a video. This is the first video on DILR, how to solve a DILR set. Now, we know that the DILR section is possibly the toughest section on the CAT, maybe the single deal breaker with respect to whether you'll crack the exam or not. Now, there are two aspects to why this happens. The first, or rather the main, there's only one aspect to why this happens. If you are stuck in a set for way too long, right? You have just 40 minutes, and if you solve two sets correctly, you're going to easily clear the cutoff. Two of the easiest sets, if you do absolutely correctly, you're going to clear the cutoff, right? But the problem is, in case you get stuck in any one set for 10 to 15 minutes, you're absolutely gone. It's almost like this cat is gone and it's the next cat. Because once you lose 10 to 15 minutes in a bad set, then to come back and pull out two more sets, you have to be in an absolutely great frame of mind. So the reason it's a make or break is for two reasons. One, you choose the wrong sets. That we'll cover in a different video. Two, you choose the right sets, but still end up, because of bad solving habits, either getting stuck and not really reaching the end, or ending up taking way too much time than required, right? So most of the time, when we say you have X number of minutes to solve a question, be it on any section, RC, Quant and DILR, the key thing is how efficiently you solve the easiest questions. If you solve the easiest quant question in under a minute, that means you have an extra minute to solve that tougher question or a moderate to tough question, right? Same thing goes with RC, same thing goes with DILR. So in this, we are going to talk about the process of solving DILR that will make your whole solving process very, very efficient. Not having to draw the entire thing twice and restart it, reading it once and solving it once efficiently. What's the usual process? The moment you start read the question, you start drawing a table. It's almost like a Pavlovian response where there is a cue and immediately you respond in a particular way, right? This thing happens in quant also. The moment you read a question, immediately you start copying down data. So that's the first thing you do. Then you try to fit the existing data into the table. So you have the data, you draw a table, you try to fill that table, and then try to use the conditions to fill the rest of the table. This is the data, I have drawn a table, I filled in X number of values, these are the values that are remaining. Seems like a fairly correct process only, but not necessarily the best process. Why this approach will not work? First thing is, every set is unique in the way it needs to be approached. Right? So that's very, very different. So it does not mean that the first thing that you do is quickly transfer the data. A table might not be the best first move. Right? A table is just one of the ways of representing data. Right? It is not the only way of representing data. One, you might not need a table, you might need something else. Second, you might not even need a table in the first place. You might not need to draw anything. Every set will test a different kind of a construct, a different kind of a concept. So you have to, for every set, wear a different thinking hat. If you're going into every set with respect to I'll draw a table, that means that the problem is different, the approach that is required is different, but you are going with one standard method. So I cannot actually give you like a standard 5-step method, like a very, very precise technique that I outlined in my previous videos, say for verbal and for quant, right? But what we will do is give you a list of do's and don'ts. If you do these X things and you avoid these Y things, 9 out of 10 times, you will be able to efficiently solve a set that you have solved, that you have chosen. And provided it's the easiest set, or it's an easy and moderate set, right? There will always be sets that are better left alone and not solved. So what I've come up with is a list of do's and don'ts, or 10 commandments of sorts. In this first video, we'll look at 5 commandments and solve 2 sets. I just don't want to give that gyan, say don't do this or do that. I want to show you exactly how that the tips that I gave or the do's and don'ts that I say actually translate into solving a real CAT question set, right? So we'll do 5 commandments in this and 2 sets to illustrate those. Yeah, let's start. So the first one, DILR, is the closest thing, is the section that is closest to a sport. Why do I call it it's closest to a sport? Because actually there is no difference, but there is very little that I need to tell you for you to, actually maybe take a shot at a set, right? In terms of hardcore teaching, there is no teaching required for somebody to start maybe a pure logical reasoning set. Some sets have a bit of math, so you might need that, right? So when I'm looking at a sport, that's why it seems more like pure logical ability or innate ability. Now, what's the difference? If I take the example of football, what's the difference between a good footballer and a great footballer? The difference between the two is the first touch. A great footballer is always recognized by the first touch. The first time the way he touches the ball or she touches the ball will be exactly very, very close to the foot. So after you touch it for the first time, it's not running away, right? Well, some of the most iconic goals that are there, in football have to do with this part of somebody touching a ball that's been like a high ball from distance, and this person touches it and the ball just falls there, right? In case you guys want to check out such a goal, maybe just Google on YouTube. You should go find Dennis Bergkamp 1994 goal. That's it, World Cup goal. Dennis Bergkamp 1994 goal. Do you see what I mean by first touch? So the first thing is the first touch. The second thing is a great footballer has everyone else in their vision. It's not just them. They know exactly what's happening, right? Now, why this is important for DILR? This is important for DILR because how you start the first time you see a set and the first move you make. Suppose you make the wrong move, just like the ball running away from you, the set will start running away from you, and before you know it, 10 minutes are gone, right? And then that becomes a difficult thing, because once the required run rate goes up, you know that the tension level goes up, right? So, and the second thing is there is a lot of information always in DILR, just like you're playing with a team. So you need to have everything in vision. So the first thing, do not jump to draw a table. Logic should be at the beginning, middle, and the end of DILR, right? So you are solving a logical reasoning puzzle, right? That data that is given is already there on the screen, right? Quant has a 4 to 5 line problem as max. At max, even if you transfer it into your paper, it's not much. Imagine that the time that you will be taking to transfer an entire DILR data set. So do not start with transferring the data. It means that when your first move, when faced with a problem, is actually doing the donkey work, which is, it is already given there and you're converting it onto your paper. First, figure out whether you need to draw a table. Even when you need to draw a table, you don't actually need to draw borders. If you need to do 3 by 3, you can just do 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. You don't need a border, right? So draw the bare minimum and what is efficient. Don't try to draw super neat tables with a border. The goal is to become a business leader. You're not going to become the office Rangoli competition champion, right? That's not the goal. The goal is to become a business leader. So even when you need to draw a table, don't think of, borders and stuff. Second, decode the questions before you start solving. We usually read the set and start solving. Decode the questions. Why do you need to decode the questions? Because the questions are your master. The set is your friend. The questions are your master, right? So you're going to answer the master or solve the problem posed by the master by using your set, which is your friend. Now, why do you need to read the questions? They will tell you what and how much needs to be done. For example, you might not be able to calculate all the missing values. There is a table and there are 5 to 6 values given and maybe 7 to 10 values that are missing. If you decide, your first instinct is to say, let me use the conditions and start filling this up. But what if you read the questions and the question tells you this? If Balaji is an economics student, then who is the literature student? That means what? The question has given you additional information. That means you can figure out who the literature student is only if you are told that Balaji is the economics student. That means without going to the questions, only if you're solving the set, in one set, economics, you can't fill the word Balaji. Maybe there are two people who can be economic students. So what does that tell you? That even after you solve all this, if you use the conditions perfectly, you might not be able to fill all the values or all the empty cells. Why is this very important? Because you might be solving and you have filled up, say, 4 of the 7 empty cells, and you might still be wasting time trying to fill the remaining cells without knowing that, okay, beyond this I cannot fill, right? Second thing is, in a table there is lots of data, right? And there are many, say maybe there are 6 states, and then there are 7 things or 10 states and 5 things or whatever it is. The questions might not, because in a set, how many questions are there? Maybe 4 questions or 5 questions. The questions might not cover every single missing data. The questions might be covering only a few things. So it means that you need not necessarily calculate in the first place. They are not asking any question on Ravi, for example. All the questions are about the other people, right? So you also need to figure out by reading the questions as to how much can be done. That means you cannot actually get this data, and how much should be done, right? So you should never do whatever you try to fill the whole table sort of a thing, right? So decoding the questions, this is why it is important. Another thing is, suppose you have a chart, bar chart with different values, right? With different, they have not given what is the value of this bar, right? Is it 98, is it 97 or whatever, right? Now you're seeing that there are different bars. One thing is, so you have to approximate it, right? Is it 98, is it 99, is it 94, depending upon the size. If you read the questions and you find that the answers are very far apart, right? The answers are 95, 105, 120, 130. That means that you don't need to waste time precisely trying to calculate the value. You can do a rough approximation and go ahead, right? Otherwise, you might see a bar chart and first you might decide, okay, let me first calculate what each value is, and you might waste time on that, right? So approximation might suffice. You don't need to calculate the whole thing. Do not write thus anything on your paper before you set and the questions tell you what to do. So you've read the set and you've read the questions and they tell you what to do, only then start writing. Third part, do not just read, interpret the data in the tables. So what do I mean by interpret the data in the tables? You have to ask yourself, do I need to calculate the values in the given matrix, right? So this will get explained when I do the set, right? Do I need to exactly calculate the values in the given matrix? Or can I estimate it on a different scale, right? Again, I'll take an actual CAT set and show you how this is. Should I need to actually calculate the precise values, or will approximation suffice? Right? So 3 things. Do not draw a table to start with. Start doing any sort of solving only after reading the set and the questions, and then interpret the data in the tables and only then go ahead. Now, to execute this, we'll look at the first set. This is a graphical reasoning set from one of the recent CATs, right? And it might seem very different. It might seem tough to do in case this is you're very, very new to DILR, but feel absolutely, take your time also. If you can, if you need to pause the video to actually interpret the tables and all, you can do that and then go ahead, right? Now, what does it say? The title of the set is States and Crimes. The Ministry of Home Affairs is analyzing crimes committed by foreigners in different states. Okay. All cases refer to the ones registered against foreigners in 2016. The number of cases are in 3 categories: IPC, SSL, and other crimes. For 9 of the states, 9 out of states, the ranks are given. These 9 states belong to the top 10 states in terms of the total number of cases. The remaining top 10 state, only 1 state is missing, which is West Bengal, where all the cases are only 1 category, which is SSL crimes. So they're giving you some data. 10 states, 3 categories of crimes. West Bengal, some data is missing, but we know that there is only 1 category of crime there, which is SSL, and that is 520. Now let's look at the chart. So first they've given you a chart. Now, as they said, in this chart, what is missing? 9 states are there. The only missing state is what? is West Bengal, right? And they've given you 3 categories of crimes. Right? Now, as soon as I'm looking at this chart, when I said, no, read the table and see that do you need to interpret it in the same metrics or in the different metrics. So here, for example, I know, right, I don't need to calculate each of these values beforehand, right? So I'll just keep, that's the first thing I know. That's the first thing I should avoid by trying to calculate, right? So, and let's look at, and the second thing I know is that I'm looking at, say, like, let's look at any one specific thing. Let's look at other crimes in Delhi. If I'm looking at other crimes in Delhi, are you seeing these vertical lines that are there, right? There are these vertical lines that are parallel to the y-axis, right? Now, I can either try to calculate this in this exact scale, which is, so to see as to, if I want to calculate how many other crimes has Delhi committed or were registered in Delhi, I can either try to calculate the value or in the given number, or I can say that between 2 vertical lines, there is a space which is 10 in the in the chart, it is 10. Between 2 lines, the difference is 10. I'm going to take it as 1. So Delhi's other crimes I will classify as what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and roughly say around 3 here, 4.3, and roughly say 1 bar at the left end, so 4.4, right? So it is 4 full bars. So I'm going to look at the gap between 2 bars instead of 10 as 1. So I know Delhi is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.3 plus 1, 4.4. Right. It makes my job easier instead of calculating the beginning value, calculating the end value, and then subtracting it. Right? So I know that I don't need to interpret the table in the way that it is given. I can do something different. So next one they have given is what? The table below shows the ranks of the 10 states in each of this. They are giving the ranks. And what are they telling you is the rank? A state or a UT is given a rank for a category of crimes, rank R, if there are R-1 states having a larger number of cases. So if I am rank 5, that means 4 states have a larger number of cases than me. Okay. For example, if 2 states, that's what it says. The missing ranks are denoted by the table. So this is the table. In this table, all 10 states are given. Right? And in this table, all the stars are also given. Right? Now, as I said, the biggest mistake to do will be to either first take that chart, calculate all values and try to fill this table up. It will take you easily 10 to 15 minutes and then you can decide to solve, right? But what did we decide? Second, this thing, decode the set, the conditions and the questions before you start. Now, if I look at the questions, what are they saying? What is the rank of Kerala in IPC? So they have a question about Kerala. In the 2 states where the highest total number of cases are registered, what is the ratio of total number of IPC to total number? So again, top 2, right? So right now they've asked you 2 questions. One is about Kerala, other is about the top 2. Which of the following is definitely true about the ranks of UT and states in other crimes category? Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, about Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. What is the sum of ranks of Delhi in all 3 categories of crimes? Now, if I look at this, technically, if you want to calculate each value, how many values are there? 10 states, 3 sets of crimes, 10 into 3, 30 values. In the question, what are they asking you? How many values have they asked you? Rank of Kerala in IPC category. They're not asked for this thing. So that is 1. Total number of cases registered for 2, this thing, IPC and this thing of 2 states, right? That is 2 states, IPC in this thing, that's another 2 values, right? Or rather maybe 4 values. That is 4 plus 1 is 5. Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, only other crimes, that is 5 plus 2, 7. And last one, sum of ranks of Delhi in all 3 categories of crime. So that may be another. This totally, technically, if you the number of empty values are 30. But what you actually need are around 10. Right? And this you can also get by estimation. So the biggest learning when when you're going ahead is, do you need to calculate each and every value? No. Do you need to transfer any data or table? Now they've asked you only for these 10 values. This table is given, this chart is given. It's there in front of you on the screen. Do you need to transfer anything onto the paper? No. You can look at the chart, read the question, figure out the answer and go ahead and mark. Maximum to add something or to make a note you can add. You don't need to draw any table. You can just have a small thing for rough work to keep that, right? So you need to transfer anything, do you transfer data from the table or chart or draw a table with all values? No. Now, first one, what is the rank of Kerala in the IPC crimes category? Now they've given this as a chart of, that is there of everything. Now you don't know the other values, so hence you don't know, you cannot figure out the, from this table you don't know, because Delhi is a star, Goa is a star, and Kerala is a star. So you have to go to the chart. Now if I go to the chart, Kerala in IPC crimes category. Now straight away you know that Delhi is the largest one. You don't need to calculate anything. It's the first dark blue bar, and you know Delhi is the largest. Now after Delhi, visually only you know next biggest is which one? You can clearly see, so you know Delhi is the largest. Next biggest blue bar is what? You can clearly see it, it's Goa, right? So Goa has to be 2. Now if you see the next biggest, you can clearly see it is Maharashtra and Karnataka. Now from the chart itself, I can clearly see that, okay, now visual reasoning becomes important here. If I draw a straight line from end of the blue of Maharashtra, that will exactly meet Karnataka. So from here, I know exactly that Maharashtra and Karnataka are definitely equal. But I have a table. So let me just check on the table as to what it is saying. So I know Delhi is 1, Goa is 2. From my visual, this thing, the answer is Maharashtra and Karnataka are 3. From the table also, it's saying Maharashtra and Karnataka are 3. Now, Maharashtra and Karnataka are 3. Now, visually, what is the next biggest one? Delhi is over, Karnataka is over, Goa is, Goa is also over. The next biggest one clearly is Kerala, everything is small. So, Kerala is number 5. So, what is the rank of Kerala in the IPC category? 5. Now, for this, would I have written anything down? Do I need to write anything down? No. But maybe on my paper for some other question if I want to write, I would write that IPC, Delhi 1, Karnataka 2, Goa 2, Karnataka 3, Maharashtra 3 and Kerala 4. And Kerala is 5. Why is the rank 5? Why is the rank not 4? If I am given a rank R, that means R minus 1 states are ahead of it. Or whatever are the number of states ahead of me, I get the next rank after that, that plus 1. How many states are ahead of me? 4. So what is my rank? 5. Yep. So first question, absolutely hands-free approach. Next one, in the 2 states where the total number of cases registered are the highest, the ratio of total number of cases in IPC crimes to the total number of cases in SSL crimes was what? Now from this table, what is very clear? Delhi is the maximum. What is the total of Delhi? Close to around 143 or 144. What do you know about the only other state that is there? SSL crimes, they say that West Bengal is the state that is missing, and in that the only one category of crime which is SSL. So top 2 you know are West Bengal and Delhi. Now you know that these are the top 2, right? And in these 2 states the ratio of the total number of IPC crimes to this one. Now IPC crimes in West Bengal, are there any crimes apart from SSL? No. So IPC crimes in West Bengal is 0. Now you look at Delhi. Delhi, what is the number of IPC crimes? So you have 60 and above 60. Now between 60 and 70, is it at what portion is it? Is it exactly midway between 60 and 70 or slightly less than? It's exactly slightly less than. So I would estimate it, or it will be how much? 64. So IPC in Delhi is 64, West Bengal is 0, total is 64. IPC to what crimes? SSL crimes. West Bengal SSL is already given as 520. I just need to calculate Delhi SSL. Now Delhi SSL, if I need to calculate, how much do I need to look at? So if Delhi IPC has ended at 64, from 64 this orange bar is going up to what? Up to not 100 but just below that 99. So 64 to 99 or for 63 to 99, approximately 35 or 36. So total is how much? Delhi is 35, 36. Even if I approximate, it's absolutely fine because it's not really, doesn't really matter. West Bengal is 520, total is 556. So what is the ratio? 64 is to 556, 6 9s are 54, ratio is 1:9 approximately, right? So very, very straightforward with respect to doing this also. Maybe a few calculations you would need pen or paper. Yeah. Now, next one. Which of the following is definitely true about the ranks of Tamil Nadu, ranks in the other crimes category? They've given that two statements they've given. Tamil Nadu is rank 2 and Puducherry is rank 3, right? Which of the following is true? This is the question they will ask, where the options will be only statement 1, only statement 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 or 2, right? Now, if I look at it, this is what is given here. Other crimes category, there are absolutely no ranks. So from this table, we cannot do anything. We have to go to the chart. Now, if I go to the chart, other crimes, what do I know straight away? Even if I do not look at, without doing any calculation, I know what is rank 1. Rank 1, clearly the light blue bar is Delhi. That's definitely not a doubt. Now I have, what is the next highest after Delhi? After Delhi, if I look at it, the next highest ones are what? Easily you can see that it's Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Are anything else even close to that? Now if I measure it purely in terms of the bars, right? I said I'm going to take it as one bar as the difference between the two straight lines. So Tamil Nadu is what? 1, 2, 3, 3.3, another 0.3, 3.6. Roughly that much, 3.6 bars. And this one is what? 1, 2 and slightly greater than 1 here and slightly less than 1 here. So 1, 2 is 3, right? So Tamil Nadu is around 3.6 and Puducherry is around 3. So Tamil Nadu is 2 and Puducherry is 3. All the other states are less than that. You might say that, sir, but what about Karnataka? If you look at Karnataka, it is not 3, it is around 2.5 bars, right? So 1, 2.5. So which of the following is true? Tamil Nadu is 2. If that is true, Puducherry is 3, that is also true. So correct option in this one, both 1 and 2. Now I come to the last question. What is the sum of the ranks of Delhi in all 3 categories, right? So Delhi in all 3 categories. So straight away we know IPC, Delhi is 1. Other crimes also we know Delhi is 1. So already we know that in terms of sum of ranks, we know 2 values. So the only value that is remaining is what? Is Delhi's rank in SSL. Now, if I look at Delhi's rank in SSL, what do we need? So I know that IPC Delhi rank is 1 and other crimes is also 1. Now, SSL West Bengal is 1. SSL is the orange part, right? Orange bar. West Bengal is 1. We need to calculate Delhi's rank. Now, in this chart, apart from West Bengal, that West Bengal is not there. What is the longest bar with respect to the orange bar? If you look at it, right? Visually itself, you will know it is Karnataka, because Karnataka is 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bar, 4 bar, 4.5 and or 4.6 plus 4, close to 5 bars. So I know Karnataka is second, first is West Bengal. Now I'm looking for a third. Now this is where it gets tricky. If you see, you are seeing Delhi, you are also seeing Goa, and you are also seeing Maharashtra. All of them seem somewhere to be the same size, right? Now, a good thing can be, you know that first is West Bengal for sure, and second, anyways, Karnataka, it's also given in the chart here. Now, Delhi, between Delhi, Maharashtra and Goa, that's the fight. That between Delhi, Maharashtra and Goa, which one is which one is bigger? Now you look at the table. Maharashtra's rank is what? 4. And Goa's rank is what? 4. So Maharashtra and Goa are 4. Karnataka is 2. West Bengal is 1. Now Delhi has to be either after that or before that. Before that means Delhi's rank is 3. After that means Delhi's rank will be how much? There are 2 4s, right? That means if there are 2 4s, Delhi's rank will be 5, right? Sorry, 5. Now, let me look at this particular part as to just to figure out. So I need to figure out what Delhi's rank specifically is. Now, if I looked at this value we had earlier calculated. This is 64 and this is close to 99 or 100, roughly 35 or 36, one of these two. Now, I just need to check, is it greater than Goa, Maharashtra or is it less than Goa, Maharashtra? Now, Goa, if I'm looking, what is the value here? 10, 20, 30. After 30, because I'm taking those 3 bars, right? 1 bar, the difference between 2 bars is 1. 10, 20, 30. slightly something which is +1, and something which is slightly 4. So this might be 4 or 3, and this might be 1. So it's a touch and go case. If I'm looking at it, Delhi, I got it as 35, 36, and this I'm getting as 34 and 35. Visually, I would still go with Delhi because it seems a tad longer. I'm not going to sit and calculate the rest. So SSL is 1, West Bengal is 1, Karnataka is 2, and Delhi is 3. And others anyway, we know the rank is 1. So what is the sum of ranks is Delhi? 1 plus 3 plus 1, which is 5, right? We know Delhi is definitely not smaller. It is either equal or larger. They've given Maharashtra and Goa as 4, so Delhi has to be 3. Yeah. So you have the 5. Yeah. So if we look at this particular set, we clearly saw that it is very, very easy for you. Did we draw a single thing onto the table? No. At best, you would have written a few things. Did we calculate all values? No. Did we calculate all values exactly in the metrics that are given, 10, 20, 30 or a number? Or did we calculate it in a different way? We calculated that Puducherry, Tamil Nadu in terms of bars. 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, 3.5, 3.6. Yeah. So that's the learning from that. Next commandment is represent the data in terms of what is asked and not what is given. What do I mean by this, right? Now, for example, the way in football also, one of the things to look at is move to where the ball will be and not where the ball is. They say, this player is very good because he makes the right kind of run. What do you mean the right kind of run? You're anticipating where the ball is going to come and you're going there. Similarly, the table or the graph or anything that is already given, you're already given one graph. That is only one way of representing it. That's not the only way of representing it. You can make something else altogether. Choose the representation. So you need to choose the representation in terms of what will help you fill the answers to the questions. Right? You need to answer the question, right? So if question is asking for one particular kind of data, you have just taken the given data and made a table of it, it's a problem. Again, we'll do a set and I'll tell you how that works. Next thing is very important. Unfamiliar need not mean unsolvable, right? This is a very, very important thing. So usually they are going to give you some sort of a table, some sort of a chart or some sort of a representation or even a set in terms of description that might look very, very unfamiliar. Sets that look scary, something that looks scary is only meant to do one thing, to scare you. Right? So it will scare you in terms of the way it looks. But if you go past that initial fear, you will realize that this was a very, very easy set. I could have easily done it. Right? Whenever you analyze the paper later, you always feel, oh, this set was very, very easy. I could have solved. Why didn't I do it? Now you have to ask yourself, why did you leave it then? Because then you thought unfamiliar is unsolvable. Do not react with a flight or fight mentality. I'm going to really crack this set because this is my favorite kind of puzzle, or to say, oh my God, I've never seen this anywhere, I'm going to run off. Both are not really good. Always remind yourself, you'll decode and decide. This is a familiar set that you really like to do these kind of sets, but this is more difficult than usual. I'm better off leaving it. This is an unfamiliar set, but after reading it, I feel it only looks scary. It's actually very easy. Yeah. So always decode and decide. The next set that we will look at is an other set of graphical reasoning where we learn these two things. Unfamiliar need not be unsolvable. And second one is represent the data in terms of what is asked and not what is given. Let's look at the next set. The next set, vendor rating. Okay. They're saying 5 vendors, again, this is an actual CAT set. 5 vendors are being considered for a service. The evaluation committee evaluated each vendor on 6 aspects: cost, customer service, features, quality, reach, and reliability. Each of these evaluations are on a scale of 0, which is the worst, and 100, which is perfect. Evaluation of scores on these aspects are shown in a radar chart. For example, vendor 1 obtains a score of 52 on reliability, 54, 45 features, or whatever. Now, this can be called a radar chart, or this can be called a spider graph also. Both are names that are used. Now, if you've never seen this, imagine you're going into CAT and you have never seen this. This need not be scary, right? Now, what are they saying? 0 is the worst, and what you call 100 is the is the highest. And they're saying vendor 1 got a rating of 52 on what? Vendor 1 got a rating on 52 on reliability. Now vendor 1 is what? Who is vendor 1? The dots. And the green dots, and it's 52. So that means this line is 50, that is given, and this is slightly above that, that's 52, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 52. Yeah. So you know that. Oh, that's all that they've given. Now they've given you this. Now you might think 6 vendors, right? Sorry, 5 vendors. 5 vendors, 6 parameters. That means how many values? 5 into 6, 30 values. That I need to look at this graph and actually calculate 30 values. How much time will that take to sit with each? If you have to do it properly, you have to draw a table. It will take you 3 to 4 minutes if you want to do it correctly, and you'll double check. But what did we discuss in the earlier commandments? Read the question and see whether you need to actually look at it. Now, if I looked at the questions, on which aspect is the median score of the 5 vendors the least? What does the median score mean? Median score means if I arrange the something on is increasing order. If I arrange 5 values on increasing order, so then the middle value is the median score. So 5 values, the middle value is what? The third value. So can I know which one is the middle value just by looking at the graph? If I take reliability, right, and I look at what is the middle value on reliability for, or who has the, what is the middle value on each one, I can know that purely by observation, no? Do I need to calculate anything? No, because visually, this is third in the list. Yeah. So do I need to calculate? No. A vendor's final score is the average of their scores on all 6 aspects. Which vendor has the highest final score? Right. Now the options are 4. Vendors given are 5. That means you don't need to calculate all the values for all the vendors. So only 4 values. But keep it for now. You can also choose to decide, okay, if on this question I need to calculate all the values and everything, maybe I can leave this question. I can answer 3 questions, get 9 marks and escape. Now look at this. List of all vendors who are among the top 2 scorers on the maximum number of aspects is. How many vendors are in the top 2 in maximum number of aspects, right? They're asking what? Number of members in the top 2. Now, just by looking at the particular position on that spider graph, without calculating the value, I can say who is 1, no? Right? If blue dashed line is the first person on reliability, then I know that vendor 1 got first rank on reliability, or he has topped reliability. I don't need to calculate the value. I just need to know the position, top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4, top 5, right? So next question, list of all vendors who are among the top 3 vendors on all 6 aspects. Who are the vendors on the top 3 is one question. Who are the vendors in the top 2 in one question? That means what do you know from this? For these 2 questions, without calculating the actual value, only by looking and saying for every vendor, he is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, the position for each one, you can get 6 marks and you can leave, right? That means you will be drawing a table. But in that table of 5 vendors and 6 parameters, will you be putting the actual values? No, you will only be putting the ranks. If you do this, you get 6 marks and you can leave. And one question says which aspect is median score of 5 vendors the least? That also can be done by observation. Now let us go to the questions. What do you need to draw here? You don't need to draw a table with the values, but you need to do a table with the ranks. This is the 4th commandment, right? Do represent the table in terms of what is asked for and not what is given. Move to where the ball will be and not to where the ball is right now. So now we're looking at this. You need to draw for each vendor what is the value. Now if I look at vendor 1, which is the green lines, I know that vendor 1, what is the rank on reliability? I start from the first aspect, reliability. First, second, reliability rank is 3. Right? So sorry, reliability rank is 3. Or if I'm looking at it from the top. First, the highest value is first rank, right? So top 1, top 2, top 3. So on reliability, he's top 3. On reach, he is 1. On quality, he is 1, or she or vendor 1 is 1. On features, it is 5. On customer service, you know it's second. And again on cost, it is 3. So I can just take vendor 1 and keep putting their ranks. Now if I take vendor 2, vendor 2 is who? The red dotted dashed line. Red dashed line. On reliability, 1, 2, 3, 4. On reach, 1, 2, 3, 4. On quality, 1, 2. On features, I can see it is 4. On customer service, I know it is 4. On cost, I know it is 2. So I can easily fill this up within no time. I don't even need to count after a point. My eyes get used to this. The questions they're asking is what? How many vendors are there? Maximum number of top 2s, right? So 1 or 2. Vendor 1 has 2 1s and 1 2. That means 3 values in the top 2. So that is 3. Vendor 2 has how many values in the top 2? Only got 2 2s. So in terms of top 2, only 2 values. And if I just make that list, it takes me no time to see how many top 1 or 2 I have, how many times a person has got what? Rank 1 or rank 2. What about vendor 5? 1, 2, 3, 3 rank 2s. So that means number of top 2 ranks is 3. So list of the 2 people who've got the maximum number of ranks in the top 2 is what? Vendor 1 and vendor 5. The next question says maximum number of ranks in what? Top 3. So if I look at maximum number of ranks in top 3, what about vendor 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. All ranks are in the top 3. Everybody else has at least 1 rank outside top 3. V1 has 1 rank outside top 3. V2 has a rank outside top 3. V4 has a rank outside top 3. V5 also has a rank outside top 3. So maximum number of top 3s is vendor 3. So without taking any time, I have this list of all vendors among the top 2 scorers is 1 and 5. List of all vendors are among the top 3 in all 6 aspects. Only 1 vendor, vendor 3. So I have 6 marks. I didn't even take 6 minutes to shoot this, this segment of the video. If you measure, we haven't even taken 6 minutes, for that to solve this whole thing. You can directly look at it and finish it off within no time. Now they're saying that on which aspect is the median score of the 5 vendors the least. Now, out of 6 aspects, they're only given you what? 3 aspects. And which aspect is the median score the least? Median score is what? The middle value, right? So I'm looking at the 5 values and have to figure out exactly where the middle value is. Now, if I'm looking at cost, now cost, what is the middle value? First value, the blue dotted line is somewhere around 100. Next is red, somewhere around 90. Next, I somewhere slightly greater than 90. And then cost, I look at the next value, which is closely, that is the third value, in this particular list. That's because median value is what? 5 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Middle value is the third value. Right? So cost, it is close to 90. Next, this thing is what? Customer service. Now, if I look at between cost and customer service, I know that cost is, somewhere, here close to 90. The third value on customer service here is what? First value is this, which is yellow. Second value is dotted. Third value is here. Now, that is definitely less than 90. So, customer service, I'm going to eliminate. The next is what? Reliability. Now, if I come to reliability also, third value is again the green dotted line, but it's just at 50. So that also eliminate. Cost is still the highest median score. Now, last one is quality. Now, it is finally between quality and this thing. Now, quality also, the median value is what? 1, 2, 3. It is less than 90. So definitely the maximum value is what? Median value is of the cost only. Right? I don't need to do anything else. So it's a visual thing. Cost is the highest, so did I calculate the value of the remaining ones? No. I saw that cost, this dot, the third value is close to 90. Everything else is lower than that. So I can eliminate. And okay, sorry, they asked me the reverse question. They asked me for which of the, is the median score the least. I ended up calculating the highest. Okay. So if I look at cost and customer service, then I definitely saw that customer service is less than that. So cost gets eliminated. Between cost and customer service and quality, I know that quality is at a higher point. This one is how much? The third value is, how much is this? This is here. And third value in terms of quality that is slightly higher than customer service. So that definitely goes. Next is reliability. Reliability, we've already calculated is the third value is slightly higher than 50. Third value is slightly higher than 50. Customer service third value is exactly at 50. This is 100, 90, 80, it is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and this is 50. So this is lower than that. So clearly we are looking at customer service at the lowest one, right? Again, a visual thing, I inverted the question. This can happen to you as well as an exam where they're asking for the least and you're looking at the highest. So answer on this one is customer service, purely observation. We didn't calculate any value. Then you come to the final one, which vendor has the highest final score? They're saying which vendor has the highest final score? 1, 4, 2, and 3. Right? Now, I know that vendor 1 has 3 top 2s. And I know that vendor 3 has only top 3s. That means these two have to be one of the top 2. Now, if you look at vendor 4 and vendor 2, the other two people, vendor 4 has 3 5s. Vendor 2 has 4 values which are top 4, right? I know despite being top 4, all these values can be close or whatever. Now, as I said, I've already got 9 marks purely by observation and not by calculation. I have one question left. Now, am I going to sit and calculate all values for this? Is it a waste of time? Definitely waste of time for these 3 marks to spend there. So I'm trying to maximize even on this. I'm trying to do it as fast as possible. I know vendor 1 and vendor 3 are the contenders for top 2 because they have maximum top 2 positions and top 3 positions. So I'm just going to compare between vendor 1 and vendor 3. Now between vendor 1 and vendor 3, what do I want to look at? I want to look at the highest final score. Now vendor 1 and vendor 3. Now vendor 1 is what? The green dot, and vendor 3 is what? The blue dashes. Now, should I calculate each value, calculate the totals, and then find out who has the highest final score? Not necessarily. What can I do? On every value, on every category, I know this is vendor 3, I know this is vendor 1. I can just look at the difference. Every time is the difference positive or not. Now, if I look at the first category, I'm going at reliability only. Vendor 3 is at what? 52. And vendor 1 is close to how much? 52, and this is 60, this is 70, close to 76. So 52 and 76, vendor 3 is greater by how much? Plus 24. 52, 26. Now I am only going to keep measuring this gap, right? So vendor 3 is 24 ahead. If for the next value, vendor 1 is greater, I will subtract the lead. If the vendor 3 is greater, I will increase the lead. Now quickly I come to reach. Once I come to reach, I see that, okay, vendor 1 is higher here. What's the difference? It's close to 10 plus around 18. So plus 24, and here it is minus 18 because vendor 1 is higher than this. So 24 minus 18, the lead is coming down to 6. Now again I come back here, again I'm seeing that the green dot is greater than this, and it is roughly, the difference is close to 10. So because it's close to equal to this thing. So plus 6 and minus 10, again this becomes minus 4. From plus 6 it goes to minus 4. Now I'm going to the features. Again now, and the vendor 3 is greater, and what's the difference? This is 10 plus close to 8, around 18 or say 16, something of that sort. So minus 4 plus that's equal to 10. So this is 8, this is around 10 plus around 9 plus around 14, that's plus 10. Now I'm coming to customer service. Customer service, again the green one is higher by how much? 5. Green one is higher by 5, 10 minus 5 is plus 5. And last one is cost. Cost I'm not even going to calculate because I can see that the blue one is higher. Blue one is already ahead by plus 5 and this is higher. So definitely finally highest score has to be V3 only, right? Vendor 3 with this one because that's the blue line. Yeah. So if you see, we just kept on calculating the differences. If you calculated each and every value and you did that total and then calculated the difference, that was not enough. Yep. Now we have 4 questions. In an exam situation, I would have left this last question. I would have got the 9 marks and then moved on to this thing. I would have marked this. If I had time left, right at the end for one more question, I would have come here. Yeah. So just to summarize the end of the part 1 video of the 5 10 commandments. First one, do not jump to draw a table. That's the first move. Don't make that mistake. Decode the questions before you start solving, because the questions will tell you, do you need to draw, what you need to draw, and how much can you solve. Do not just read, interpret the data in the tables, right? So, okay, they've not just given me this thing, they've given me vertical lines, so I can interpret this in a particular way. Represent what is asked and not what is given. In the last set that we just saw, the spider graph or the spider chart or the radar chart, if you do a ranks of top 5, a ranking of the 5 vendors on each of these values, you get 6 marks, right? But if you actually try to fill all the values, that will become very, very long. So the table should represent what is asked and not what is given. And unfamiliar need not mean unsolvable. Those of you who are not familiar with charts, or those of you familiar with charts also, might have found the spider chart very, very crazy to look at, but when you actually go to solve it, it's not, right? So that's the end of part 1 of this video. I'll see you in part 2 with 5 more commandments.